Aloha there. And we're going to talk about Philip K. Dick many books. As them listed, let's see. Ubik. Let's learn that is an espionage sci-fi one that reminds me a lot with. Oh, sorry, something that's up my stomach right now. Might as well drink some water in the meantime. Huh. And then you have Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, talks about androids and stuff, along with. What the? Yeah. Might as well investigate that. Okay, that shouldn't be one big issue. Scanner Darkly, Flow by Tears, Placement on Val's Trilogy, Second Variety? Second Variety? Variety? These quotations are making it a bit challenging for me to properly pronounce it. You know, how do you properly pronounce something? Or I'm just overthinking about it, because I remember one time when they put quotations in a joke, they were making sure that you're supposed to say it in a specific way because it's part of the joke. Such. Without further ado, we can remember it for your wholesome, for you wholesome. So let's see. Do you remember if you wholesale science fiction novel T by American writer? Yes. It features the melding reality, false memory, and real memory. The story was adapted into the 1990s film Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, remade with Colin Farrell. All as such. So, yeah, pretty much a bunch of Philip K. Dick properties that later became movie adaptations and stuff, especially with Do Androids Dream Electric Sheep, Blade Runner. And the fun fact about it is that the reason why it's named Blade Runner is because they wanted a better name versus Electric Sheep. So, yeah, that's the It's a funny joke. But anyhow, let's scroll through early life. Early life. Dick and his twin sister Jane Charlotte Dick was born 6 weeks prematurely on December 16, 1928, Chicago, Illinois, to Dorothy and Joseph Edgar Dick, working in the United States Department of Agriculture. His parental parents were Irish. Jane's death on January 26, 1929, 6 weeks after their birth, permanently affected Philip's life, leading to the recurrent motif of the Phantom Twin in his books. Dick's family later moved to the San Francisco Bay Area when he was 5. His father was transferred to Reno, Nevada, and when Dorothy refused to move, she and Joseph divorced. Both fought for custody of Philip, which was awarded Dorothy. Determined to raise Philip alone, she took a job in Washington, D.C. and moved there with her son. Philip was enrolled in John Eaton Elementary School, 36 to 38, completed the 2nd through 4th grades. His lowest grade was the C in written composition, although a teacher said he shows interest and ability in storytelling. That's what the teacher said. Huh? That's the voice of a teacher. Huh? He was educated in Quaker schools. In June 1938, Dorothy and Philip returned to California, and it is around this time that he became interested in science fiction. Dick stated that he read his science fiction magazine, Steering Science Stories, in 1940. Okay, what's up with this thing? As it goes, so alignment here. Ah, shoot, it's getting Alright, so we're on here, side to side, and still splice now. It's gonna splice up anymore. Teach the wires. Alrighty. Okay, Dick attended Berkeley high school in Berkeley, California. Were members of Lost 1947. Worked at the art music company, a record store in Telegraph Avenue. He attended the University of California, Berkeley from September 1949. Yeah. Then, yeah, Dick dropped out because of ongoing anxiety problems, according to third wife Anne's memoirs. She also said he disliked the mandatory ROTC training in Berkeley. Oh yeah, because in Berkeley they actually outlawed any military services around the 90s. So yeah, it's weird. That come to think about it, that some colleges actually did had military services. At Berkeley, he befriended poet Robert Duncan and poet linguist Jack Spicer, who gave Dick ideas for a Martian language. Through his studies in philosophy, he believed the existence is based on internal human perception, which does not necessarily correspond to external reality. He described himself as a epistemic pathist. How do you pronounce this? A cosmic panelist. Panelist. Panelist? I wonder if they have the pronunciation here. Oh, what's up with it? Alrighty. All in glove from Greek. Gotcha. Doesn't have a pronunciation. But yeah, it's the belief that the divine interacts every part of the universe and also extends beyond space and time. So this is theism. So pantheism. Alright, believing the universe only as an extension of God. After reading the works of Plato and pondering the possibilities of metaphysical realms, he also came to the conclusion that, in a certain sense, the world is not entirely real and there is no way to confirm whether it is truly there. This question from his early studies persisted as a theme in many of his novels. Alrighty. Career. Early writing. Dick sold his first story, Rogue, in 1951 when he was 22, about a dog who imagined that the garbage man who came every Friday morning was stealing vulnerable food, which the family had carefully stored away in a safe metal container, end quote. Oh, jeez. From then on, he wrote full-time. During 1952, his first speculative fiction publications appeared in July and September numbers of Planet Stories, edited by Jack O'Sullivan, and in If and the magazine of fantasy. Okay, so what is If? Okay, If is American science fiction magazine, and the magazine of the fantasy and science fiction. Okay. Wow. Okay, I thought it was just If and the. That year, his debut novel Solar Lottery was published in 1955 as a half of Ace Double #D/103 alongside the Big Jump by Leigh Brackett. The 1950s was a difficult and impoverished time for Dick, who was once lamented. We couldn't even pay the late fees on the library book. He published almost exclusively within the science fiction genre, but dreamed of a career in mainstream fiction. During the 1950s, he produced a series of non-genre relative conventional novels. In 1960, Dick wrote that he was willing to, quote, take 20 to 30 years to succeed as a literacy writer. The dream of mainstream success formally died in January 1963 with the Scottish Murdiff Literacy Agency returned all of his unsold mainstream books. Only one of them, Confessions of a Crap Artist, was published during Dick's lifetime. Okay, let's see. Is the lighting? Is the lighting there, bub? If I cover this part... Yeah, bear with me because I found this thing, the way I assemble it with this stand, still having issues. Could it really be interference or anything of such? That's still makes me wonder. Alrighty, in yeah, crap offers confessions of a crap artist, and so on, and then moves forward. In 1963, Dick won the Hugo Award for The Man of the High Castle. Although he was hailed as a genius in the science fiction world, the mainstream literacy world was unappreciated, and he could publish books only through low-paying science fiction publishers such as Ace. Even in his later years, he continued to have financial troubles. In the introduction to the 1980 short story collection, The Golden Man, he wrote, let's see. Several years ago, when I was ill, Hen offered his help, anything he could do. We would never meet. He would phone me to cheer me up and see how long I was doing. He wanted to buy me an electric typewriter. God bless him. One of the few true gentlemen in the world. I don't agree with any of the ideas he put forth in writing, but he's neither here nor there. Okay, one time, IRS a lot of money. His wife dedicated the book to appreciation. Robert Healing is a fine-looking man, very impressive and very military in stance. I don't know, talk about his background, such, my wife and his troubles. Best in humanity there. That is who and what I love. Yeah, in quote, putting down what he had. So yeah, he actually sure had a lot of work that he put down before he started making well-acclaimed novels that he's done today. Now, alright, let's see. So when it comes to his early writing, Galaxy Science Fiction, Dick's novelty, The Defenders, was covered story to the January 1953 issue of Galaxy Science Fiction, illustrated by Ed Emshwiller. And yeah, this is actually pretty badass when you think about it, especially with him having like a high caliber rifle. God damn, son. Oh shoot, it was 35 cents. I mean, that's actually pretty cheap compared to nowadays. Anyway, when it comes to adding inflation, so. But that's the thing. There was a lot of market for people to buy printed instead of digital. A weird time. That was the 50s and 60s. Science Fiction Quarterly. Dick's short story, The World She Wanted, took the cover of the May 1953 issue of Science Fiction Quarterly. Pretty much here, just pretty much doing a pose from Fortnite, going through an eyeball, just hurling from the skyscrapers of Gotham. What was it? What's the damn city from Superman? Because in Batman it's Gotham, and for Superman it is I can't put my finger in it. Both my fingers on it either. Metropolis, Daily Bugle, Man of Steel, Krypton, Kryptonite, all that stuff. Titans Go. Yeah, I just can't think of what's in my damn mind. Oh well. And finally, the satellite science fiction. Dick's novel The Cosmic Puppets originally appeared in the December 1956 issue of Satellite Science Fiction as A Glass of Darkness. And yeah. Cool. I really like these artworks. They look pretty impressive. Maybe it's just because it's the novelty, because we don't see this, or just the detail. I like the illustrated magazine covers. It's nice. Flight to Canada on suicide attempt. In 1971, Dick's marriage to Nancy Hagel broke down and she moved out of their house in Santa Ventura, California. He is abused in the... Alright, health is... Okay, that's a lot about it. Okay, let me actually skim through this. Read some highlights. Yeah, he's abused to infantilities. Yeah, stemming, regime. He also allowed other drug users to move into his house. Following the release of 21 novels between 1960 and 1970, these developments were exaggerated by unprecedented periods of writer's block. And following Schwartz in 1974, Dix returned to his home to discover that he was burglarized. Okay. Personal papers missing. The police didn't determine the culprit. He was suspected of having done it himself. Alrighty. Within a day of arriving at the conference and giving this speech, the android and the human. Okay, yeah, it's a speech. He informed people that he had fallen in love with a woman named Janice, whom he had met there, and announced that he could be remaining in Vancouver. Conference attendee Michael Walsh, movie critic, alrighty, invited Dick to stay in his home. Okay, yeah, Dick committed suicide in 1972. Overdose when it comes to potassium bromide. Shortly after dealing to seek help, Dick became a participant in ex-Kalia Canadian Cyanone type recovery program. It was well enough by April to return to California. In 1972, October, Dick wrote a letter to the FBI about science fiction writer Thomas Dish. While relocating to Orange County, California, at the behest of California State University, Florence professor William McKinley, who initiated correspondence with Dick during his X-ray talent, he donated manuscripts, papers, and other materials to the university's special collections library. Alrighty. Dick's Blade Runner series with 3 sequels. Dick's returned to the events of these months while writing a novel, Scanner Darkly. A fatal account of a recovery program participating in portrayed the Collins released The Dark-Haired Girl, a collection of letters and journals from the period. So, he's journal when it comes to Canada and such. Yeah. And then the suicide attempt. To show that this is a big toll in his life, but also other people's when it comes to even, yeah. I mean, it being part of some of the books he made, especially Blade Runner. Paranormal experiences. Alright, 1974, while crime defects the sodium pentothal administered in the distraction of the impacted wisdom tooth. Okay, received a home delivery diaphragm from a young woman. Alrighty. When he opened the door, he was struck by the dark-haired girl's beauty and was especially drawn to the golden necklace. His name seemed to have been based on the confliction of 2 related symbols: the Christian ethos symbol, alright, which the woman was wearing, and the vesicle piscus. So the type of lens a mathematical shape formed by the interaction of 2 discs on the same radius, but when it comes to the religious experience of Christianity. Dick recounted that the sun left off the golden pendant. The reflection caused the generation of a pink beam of light that mesmerized him, and he came to believe that the beam, he was startled by the separate recurrence of the big beam. Okay, the expression though. Okay, after a moment's departure, weeks of continuation, Dick told Charles Platt, I expected an invasion of my mind by a transactional yeah, I'm having a challenging time pronouncing it. Let's see. Transcendentally rational mind, as if I have been insane all my life, and suddenly I became sane. End quote. Throughout February and March 1974, Dick experienced a series of hallucinations, which is referred to as 2 through 374, shorthanded by February and March 1974, aside from the pink beam. Pictures of Jesus in ancient Rome, hallucination increased duration of frequency. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's referring to. Rational mind, a zebra, God, and Velas, an acronym for Vast Active Living Intelligent Systems. He wrote from the experiences first in the semi-autobiographical novel Radio Free Albuth, and in Valis, The Divine Invasion, The Transmigration of Timothy Archer, and Unfinished Owl and Daylight, the Valis Trilogy. Oh shoot, there's a lot more. In 1974, Dick wrote a letter to the FBI accusing various people, including the University of California, San Diego professor Frederick Jameson, of being foreign agent of the Warsaw Powers. He also wrote to the Stanisław Lem was possibly a false name used by the Com- Comsite committee operating in the orders of the Communist Party to gain control over the public opinion. Damn. Yeah, apparently Philip K. Dick really did had quite a life when it comes to challenges. And yeah, challenges to go through. In stride. Especially when, yeah, dealing with a lot of stuff. Especially making novels and such. At one point, Dick felt that he has been taken over by the spirit of Prophet Elijah. He believed that it was an episode in the novel Flower by Tears, the policeman said, was detailed retelling biblical story from the books of Acts, which has never been read. He documented discussing experiences of faith in private journal he called the Exegesis, portions of which were later published as the Exegesis of Philip K. Dick, the last novel he wrote from the transmigration of Timothy Archer. He was published shortly after his death in 1982. And then his personal life, Dick was married to 5 times with these women. Had 3 children here that are not linked for some reason. In 1955, Dick and his second wife received a visit from the FBI, which they believed the result of the Cleo's socialist views and left-wing activities. 1955, the 50s, so during the Red Scare and such. And he was physically abused with his third wife. He attempted to push her off a cliff in the car. Oh, he was physically abusive. Just wanted to clarify because he was the one that was physically abusive with his third wife, not vice versa with the wife being physically abusive to him. But yeah, persuaded the psychiatrist to admit her involuntarily. Shortly after, he attempted suicide. But okay, I'm following that. And then Dick tried to stay out of the political scene because of the high socialite turmoil from the Vietnam War. Still, he did show some anti-Vietnam War and anti-governmental sentiments. In 1968, he joined the Writers and Editors War tax protest and anti-war pledge to pay no U.S. federal income tax, which resulted in the confiscation of his car by the IRS. And then following his death, February 17, 1982, after completing an interview, Dick contacted his therapist, complaining of failing eyesight, and was advised to go to the hospital immediately, but did not. The following day, he was found unconscious on the floor of the Santa Ana, California home, having suffered a stroke. Dick suffered another stroke in the hospital, which led to brain death 5 days later. He was disconnected from life support after his death. Dick's father, his ashes, along with burial procedures, throwing the ashes in the Riverside Cemetery. And then, Philip died 4 months before the release of Blade Runner, the film based on the novel Do Androids Dreams of Electric Sheep. Damn, really? Wow. Yeah, would have been. Well, obviously, when it comes to his death, he got expert advice to check on something that was bothering him. He asked personally. He didn't follow through by getting hospitalized before. He later did get hospitalized, stayed there for a few days until he was just on life support because of just brain damage, because timing is that important. If that happens to people, it's always great to seek immediate attention, even when it comes to a hospital. Style and works. Themes. Dick's stories typically focus on the fragile nature of what is real and the construction of personal identity. His stories often became surreal fantasies as the main characters slowly discovered that their everyday life is actually an illusion assembled by powerful external entities, such as the suspended animation in Ubik, Namek, vast political conspiracies, or the vicissitudes of the unreliable narrator. All of his work started with the basic assumption that there cannot be one single objective reality. Right science fiction author Charles Platt. Everything is a matter of perception. The ground is liable to shift under your feet. A protagonist may find himself living out another person's dream, or he may enter a drug-induced state that actually makes better sense than the real world, or he may cross into a different universe completely. End quote. Alternate universes and simulacra are common plot devices with fictional worlds inhabited by common working people rather than galactic elites. Yeah, this is actually following more with hardboiled novels. And, referring to hardboiled, that's just referring to like grounded, gritty detective novels that follow particular storylines that have characters living in an environment that every day it's the mundane. It's just the world they live in. Typically, when it comes to the back alley streets, when it comes to public services that people in the modern day find mundane. And honestly, I really love that because just like Blade Runner, which I really love too, it's interesting going to watch something that sucks you into an immersive world. It's not supposed to be an adventure. It's supposed to be I was about to say some cheat something cheeky. Like, it's not an adventure, it's a journey. But what I'm referring to is that it is an immersive experience where you're living in one person's life, his actual boring life, where because of novelty and how everything is just exotic, being like example a cyberpunk world of following a typical person who is just living in the slums, who is just trying to do ends meet by doing work that's common in that place but it's not common or anything such that's customary to the real world we're living in, we're reading from based on our own experience, is just unique. I like that because I do like my immersive experiences. But yeah, this puts out it. Alrighty. And then when it comes to the idea of galactic elites, well, I remember, right? Hardboiled cyberpunk has a genre where you're pretty much going to deal with characters who are not in the greatest situation or not in the blessed plight in their own story life. There there are no heroes in Dick's books, Ashley K. Lee Groen wrote, but there are heroics. One is reminded of Dickens' what counts in honesty, consistency, kindness, and patience of the ordinary people. Dick made no secret that much of his thinking and work was heavily influenced by the writings of Carl Jung. The Jungian construction models that most concern Dick seem to be the archetypes of the collective unconscious, group projection / hallucination, synchronicity. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this. And the personality theory, many of Dick's protagonists overly analyze reality and their perceptions in Jungian terms. So maybe I should briefly look at this. I only have some time left. And psychology and religious studies, damn. Under Ogunboro during this time, he became the attention of Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis. The two men conducted secular correspondence correlated with Wiles and joint versions of human psychology. Interesting. I think I would read. Yeah, I'll save this and read it for another time. Because, boy, I'd never heard of him. And what he's saying and what his accreditations have, seems like I could learn a lot from learning about his character, his life, work, and stuff. But yeah, you pretty much have this, and this is where I left off. So, yeah, it was good. Anywho,